Behold the man who would be God. The title of Nietzsche's final autobiography is Ecce Homo, Behold the man. These are the famous words of Pontius Pilate as he presents the scourged and bleeding Christ to the crowd. Why would a philosopher who proudly called himself the Antichrist choose this title? This isn't a coincidence. It's a declaration of war. Nietzsche is deliberately positioning himself as a world historical alternative to Christ, and the preface we are reading today is his first decisive move in that campaign. Let's see how he does it. He begins,
"In the expectation that soon I will have to confront humanity with the most difficult demand it has ever faced, it seems imperative for me to say who I am."
What kind of philosopher talks like this? This isn't an academic argument. It's a world historical event being announced. The most difficult demand is his entire project, the revaluation of all values, the overturning of 2,000 years of morality. He's framing his book not as a text to be studied, but as a destiny to be confronted. But why is this necessary? He tells us immediately.
But the discrepancy between the greatness of my task and the smallness of my contemporaries is apparent from the fact that people have not listened or even looked at me.
This is his diagnosis. The problem isn't him, it's the world. Modern culture is sick with a smallness that makes it deaf to greatness. And then, in a moment of shocking vulnerability, the prophetic voice cracks, and we hear the whisper of an utterly isolated man.
"I am living off my own credit. Perhaps it is just a prejudice that I am living at all."
Do you see? This is the first key to his method. The tone swings violently between the thunder of a world historical figure and the doubt of a man so alone he questions his own existence. This isn't a stylistic tick. The tension is the philosophy. It embodies the crushing reality of his task, to carry the weight of humanity's future while being entirely unrecognized in the present. He needs to sound this way because he believes the patient, modernity, doesn't even know it's sick. So, he establishes the cosmic stakes and the intimate pain. But the real genius, the real philosophical work, happens at the microscopic level. He doesn't just state his case, he embeds it in the very flesh of his language. Let's zoom in. Look at the subtitle of the book, How to Become What You Are. In German, that's wie man wird, was man ist. A German verb, werden, doesn't mean to arrive at a static state. It means a process, an unfolding, a continuous dynamic becoming. His entire anti-metaphysical philosophy is right there in the title. Being isn't a fixed thing you discover. It's a task you endlessly undertake. Now watch how he uses the simplest tools as weapons. He mentions speaking with an educated person. What does that punctuation do? It's not just emphasis, it's an act of total dismissal. With two tiny marks, he delegitimizes the entire German cultural establishment, the Bildung, as a hollow sham. The educated are precisely the ones who are too small, too cluttered with dead ideas, to hear him. He is arguing with typography. And then this, a confession tucked away.
"It is a duty, albeit one that my habits, and especially the pride of my instincts, rebel against at a basic level, to say."
Why tell us this? Because it reveals his aristocratic soul. He isn't a vulgar self-promoter clamoring for attention. He is a noble, reclusive spirit who finds this active self-revelation distasteful. He's forced to speak by historical necessity against his own nature. The punctuation separates him from the rabble and preserves his pride. Nietzsche has weaponized every tool at his disposal. He has turned punctuation into polemics. Now that we've seen the individual bricks, let's step back and see the stunning architecture of the entire paragraph. It has a hidden dramatic structure. The paragraph performs a chiasmus of scale. It begins with the immense, humanity, the greatness of my task. Then it narrows, plunging down to the painfully specific. A single conversation with one of those educated people. Then it hits the absolute bottom, the abyss of self-doubt. Perhaps it is just a prejudice that I am living at all. Why is it philosophically crucial that his grandest claim comes immediately after his moment of greatest doubt? Because it proves his strength is not unthinking arrogance. It is a courage born from overcoming the abyss. From this nadir, he begins his ascent, claiming his speech as a reluctant duty. This structure is not accidental. It's a perfectly calibrated dramatic sequence designed to prepare us for the paragraphs and perhaps the book's most shocking and revealing moment. It is a moment of blasphemy, creation, and ultimate self-assertion. It is the climax. Before I read the final lines, we must understand their source. In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God for his name at the burning bush. God replies, "I am that I am." It is the ultimate statement of transcendent, self-sufficient, creative being. Nietzsche, the Antichrist, the man who declared God is dead, now takes those very words for himself. He is not quoting, he is usurping. He is performing the central act of his philosophy, moving the locus of creation from heaven to earth, from a transcendent God to the singular, suffering, defiant individual.
Listen to me. I am the one who I am. Above all, do not mistake me for anyone else.
What has Nietzsche done in this single paragraph? He has filtered his audience. He has taught us how to read him, not with the lazy eyes of the educated, but with an ear for drama, irony, and courage. He has diagnosed the illness of modernity, a passive nihilism, a deafness to greatness, and presented himself as the cure. This preface is the key that unlocks the audacious chapters that follow. Why I am so wise, why I am so clever. Without this preface, those titles are pure megalomania. With it, they are the necessary answers to the question he has forced upon us. Who I am. Nietzsche wrote this for his small contemporaries over a century ago. But his final command, "Do not mistake me for anyone else," still echoes. The question he leaves us with is this: in an age of noise, distraction, and comfortable consensus, are we the educated people he was writing against? Are we capable of truly listening,